mentally blonde, okay? I also come up with really good ideas, so I'm not like dumb. I'm blonde. I have 2 blonde moments that I experienced last week and one yesterday. I work at a restaurant, so it was Mother's Day, okay? The night before that they had a function and they used this trolley that like I used to take the plates back in the afternoon. So the chef's like, can you please take the stuff back on the trolley? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So like 10 minutes after I said like I was gonna do that, I said, where's the trolley? Because I needed to put the plates back. He's like, it's got the stuff on it. I'm like thinking, what stuff? And then it hit me, oh yeah, that stuff. And he looks at me like you just acknowledge that that's where the trolley was. And then yesterday I paid for baklava, right? And I was about to walk away and he's like, are you gonna get your baklava? I'm like, oh yeah. He probably thought I was like, I don't know, something wrong with me, but I'm blonde, okay? Okay, so a blonde moment that I had involves curtains. Okay, so I have curtains that are on a rod, you know, in my room, and I was like dusting. I'm like, I want to let some sun in. Like I don't want the dust, like I don't want to inhale all the dust. So I tied the curtains up. Okay, I tied the curtains up, and like half an hour later my mum comes in and she's like, why did you tie your curtains up? I was like, because I wanted to let the sun in. And she's like, you could have just pushed them aside. And I realized, yeah, I could have. I was like, oh my god, how did I how did that like not compute with me? I don't know why I have the hooks then to like. Okay, so that is my blonde moment, okay, that I'm going to share with you guys in this episode. So this one happened this morning. My mum and I were going for a walk with my dog, and I saw this dog in the distance and I'm like, oh my god, it's a Saint Bernard. And then it got closer and it was a border collie. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but like, it's not like I forgot the actual names of them. It's that I actually thought it was a Saint Bernard because it was like, it wasn't too far away. It was probably like, it was across the road, okay? So I just thought it was a Saint Bernard because it was so fluffy and it had like the same coat as a Saint Bernard. And then it got closer and it did not look like a Saint Bernard. So I don't know if that's actually a blonde moment or just me not like actually being able to see what it was. So it was a really cute border collie. My blonde moment from last week was, so you know how last week I was telling you about the curtains, how I tried to do it, I did it the wrong way in my room. Well, I was trying to do it in the computer room. It didn't go well because I was like, you guys are making fun of me because I didn't do it properly in my room, so I'm going to try to do it properly here. It was basically the opposite. So in my room I had to pull them aside, but I decided to tie them up, okay? But it's the opposite in the computer room. You have to tie those ones up, you can't separate them. So I was trying to separate them, like, I'm gonna be smart here, guys. Like, here, you making fun of me last week, this is gonna make up for it, so I'm just gonna pull the curtains apart. No, the whole freaking curtain rod fell. Yeah. Okay, and then, yeah. So those ones can only be tied up. That is my blonde moment. I actually had one where I had a blonde moment and then when someone else had a blonde moment, that happened this morning. So I'll go through the one that I had last week sometime. So I was gonna go and vacuum my dog's, well, not my dog's mat, but like where he goes and eats his food. He just takes them from the bowl in the dining room, walks to the lounge room and eats his food on the mat. I don't know why. So I have to vacuum that. I accidentally opened the thing where all the stuff is kept, like all the dirt and stuff. So I opened that and it went all over the floor. I was like, oh my god. So I went into the kitchen and I got the dustpan and brush. I came back out and I'm like, it would be way easier if I just used the vacuum to suck it up. So yeah, that was my blonde moment. Yeah, I could have like used the vacuum instead of going and getting the dustpan and brush. Yeah, it would have been way quicker. So the one that I saw this morning is, there were 2 doors. They were both pull doors, and the guy, so I saw people go through the right hand door, so the door on the right, so many times, and they're pulling it to open it. So this guy, I don't know how old he was, but like, he pushed it, right? He pushed it. I was like, oh, okay, I do that a lot. And then he didn't like pull it, like to try to see if it would work the other way. He went through the other door and pulled that door. So I was like, kind of like, what? Wouldn't you try pulling the door that you just tried to push? I don't know, but like, that was just really strange. I even knew that was strange, and I'm blonde as. So have you had a blonde moment? No, I can't really remember anything specific. There have been times where like I'd do something and then someone would be like, oh yeah, like, why didn't you do it like this? I'm like, oh, yeah, you know? Oh wait, there was one with granddad. I can't remember it though, but it was funny. Granddad. Oh, yeah. I don't know, but I remember this one bit where it was like, he's like, oh, get me like a bucket, and I'm like, okay, I go get him a bucket, and he goes, it's wet. You can't be wet because we're making like a dirt mixture, so you can't be wet. And I was like, oh, no. And then I bring him another one, and he goes, that's the wrong colour. And I'm like, really? He's like, no, I'm just messing with you. I literally believed him. I was like, what? Oh, God. But yeah, there have been people that at work I've seen, so they got only a little bit of stuff left in the one bottle. They got like almost full thing. They pour the almost full thing into the one that's got a little bit left. That's like that girl from my work did that, remember? So there's this girl that used to work at my work, and there were 2 spray bottles, right? And there was one that was like almost empty, but it had a working spray thing, and then there was one that was full that was like broken. So what she was going to do, instead of swapping the spray thing, so the working one was in the almost full one, she decided, oh, I'm going to pour all of the almost full one into the one that had the working spray thing. And I was like, just swap the things. It was the same bottle. So you could use the same spray thing. So she was going to pour all of that liquid into one, just so she could have the working spray thing instead of just swapping it. Oh, I was like, what the hell? Yeah, she was funny, I miss her. Yeah. And there's like so many things where it's like, doing that is gonna waste so much, you know what I mean? It's gonna take more time than like, and you probably spill a lot of it because it's like almost full. Like, yeah. I've seen it, like, so making burgers, okay, the patties, you only probably need one of the rings so you can like shape them. But there was this one person that would use all the rings to shape them. I'm like, using one and using all of them would take the same amount of time. Yeah. Okay. They probably thought they were smart or something, but like, but then I have to wash like eight rings. So yeah. It's like, just use one. And you might have also seen my anklet. So the funny story about that is, I was at a shop and I saw them. So they're like a pack of 5, I think, and of course I'm wearing the pink one because it's like Barbie. So yeah, I saw a pack of 5. It didn't say what they were. They look like chokers, you know, they're really tight necklaces. So I'm gonna get them because I want more chokers. All mine are like the metal ones, and they like make your skin blue or whatever because they're cheap. So like, yeah, I brought them home and it turns out that they're anklets. This one is one where it's bad. Like, I was blonde, but also I realized what I did wrong, so I came up with a solution. Okay, so I have the Hungry Jack's app on my phone, and for my birthday I get a free Whopper, okay? So I got an email saying that I got the free Whopper. I went onto the account and there was no free Whopper there. So I was like, what? Where's the voucher? How do I get my free Whopper? Because I want my free Whopper. And then, if you don't know what a Whopper is, it is a burger, okay? So the burger from Hungry Jack's, their signature burger. Okay, so yeah, and then I go into the email and it has a thing where you can like click on the app and open the voucher. Still not there. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I realized I had signed in with Facebook instead of my email. So that was a problem. Okay, and then I signed in with my email. Guess what? It was there. So it was just me thinking I was in the right account, but no, I logged in with Facebook instead of my email. So that was this week's blonde moment for you guys. Okay, so this one is really bad. I told you at the start of the episode that it was to do with my LED lights. Okay, so let's start talking about it. Okay, so there are two parts to the lights. So you have the base, which is the stand, and then you have the actual light part. So you have to connect those, okay? Well, I was like putting batteries in. The cherry one worked. The peach one didn't. So I'm like, oh my god, what the hell's happening? And to make it even harder, you have to unscrew it to get to the batteries. So I just wasted time getting the batteries in, putting them out, like screwing it all up. And then, yeah, the peach one wouldn't work. So I'm like, maybe it's the batteries. I take it out to Mum, I'm like, this one isn't working. I'm like, maybe it's a faulty thing, I don't know. So then I change, right, the batteries that I put in the peach one, I put in the cherry one, and the ones that I put in the cherry one, I put in the peach one, because I knew the ones in the cherry one worked in the cherry one. That's probably confusing, but it still wouldn't work. The batteries from the cherry one still wouldn't work in the peach one. So, yeah, I'm like, what the hell's wrong? And the batteries that I put in the peach one worked in the cherry one. So I'm like, what the hell? It's like they're working in the cherry one. So maybe the peach one is like faulty, like the actual product is like not working. It's not the batteries or anything. But it was the user that was in the wrong. It was me. I put the actual light bit backwards into the base. So that's why it wasn't hooked up properly, because you have to put it in properly so the power source is like into the actual light. So yeah, I put them backwards. That's why the peach one didn't work. I put it the right way, put batteries in, it worked, okay? So it was me, not the product. Oh, that one is so bad. This one is very bad, but I thought I was being smart in it. It actually was kind of smart, but when I was at the dinner table telling everyone about it, they told me an easier way of how I could have done it. So, you know how I'm editing in a different app now, because I'm not editing on my tablet, I'm editing on my sister's old laptop that she gave me, so now it's mine, yeah. Well, on the old app that I used to use, I could choose like how I wanted so when I wanted to, okay, let's just backtrack a bit. I just left out a whole gap of stuff, okay? I'm blonde, okay? Give me a break. So there's this app that I use to turn my MP4s into MP3s. The max is 1 gig that I can convert. So when I did it on this new app that I was using, Clipchamp, it was like 2 gigs. So I couldn't use that. I couldn't convert that to an MP3. I couldn't find any new website to do that for free. So on the old app that I used to use, it would let me like choose the video quality that I wanted to do it on and change the frame rate and the audio quality. On this new app, it just lets me do, so Clipchamp, it just lets me do the video quality, and that's it. So I did for like the smallest size one, it was still over 1 gig, so I couldn't do it anymore. So the video that I wanted to download, it was a YouTube sized frame rate ratio video. But I'm like, what if I do it in like a reel or like a YouTube short thing, so it was more of a portrait size. So I did that. It was a bit smaller and it worked. So it was under 1 gig, right? Then at the dinner table I was like, oh my god, I figured out how to make it so it was under 1 gig and I could transfer it into a MP3 file. And my sister's like, you know, you could have just downloaded the audio and just left the video, deleted the video. I was like, oh yeah, I could have done that. So the fact that I didn't realise that I could have just kept the audio and deleted the video, because I didn't even need that, I just needed the audio, and then I could have just downloaded that and then it was straight away an audio file and then could have uploaded that to Spotify. Okay, that's why it's a blonde moment on mine, because I thought I did something smart with changing the size, like the actual like frame size of the video. Thought that was smart, but not smart enough, because I could just have deleted the video and used the audio. Probably would have been a lot smaller size file. This one is actually one that my sister had. It's actually really funny, but like, I'm sorry, okay, Quinn, I'm sorry, but like, I didn't have anything else to say, okay? I didn't think of another one, so yours is going to be on this week's episode. She was at the shops and she was wearing like earrings. You know how they have the curl at the back so they won't pull out? Okay, she still likes wearing the like stoppers in, like the things to stop them from falling out. So she's like walking in the shops. I don't know what she was doing, but like, I'm just going to say she was walking around in the shop. She's like, oh my god, this one's stopper has come off. Okay. You know what she'd done? She put 2 stoppers on 1 earring. Yeah, my mum told me that and I started laughing. I'm like, that is going to be my blonde moment this week, okay? Like, I love my sister, but that is just so funny because she didn't have 1 on 1 and then she had 2 on the other. It's just, yes, okay. I love you, Queen. Oh, okay, so that is my blonde moment. Well, my sister's blonde moment for this week. This one is one where I was just stressing myself out and there was a simple solution. Okay, I'm talking about when my sister wanted to interview me for her assignment, so I was doing it over Zoom so she could record it. And yeah, I was trying to connect my Bluetooth headphones and it just wasn't working. Like, I had them on and the sound was coming out of my laptop. I'm like, I don't think they're going to connect. Like, there's something wrong. Like, is the Bluetooth on my laptop? Is my headphones even turned on so they can connect? Okay, so I was on Zoom and there was literally a button for me to press so I could change the audio output. Okay, that's how blonde I am. Okay. So yeah, that is my blonde moment for the week. It actually happened yesterday. So I didn't have a blonde moment. I'm like, oh my god, I need to think of a blonde moment. And then that happened. So I'm like, that's my blonde moment for this week. So yeah, I should have just checked. Oh, is there an option where I can change the audio output? There was. I was stressing myself out for no reason. Yeah. You ever do that when you just like stress yourself out, but there was a simple solution. My sister comes out to my mum and she's like, it's so weird. This book I'm reading has 2 authors. She's like, how can it have 2 authors? It's just, the bit that I thought was blonde is because she thought that books could only be written by 1 person. But, like, books can be written by multiple people because they all collaborate on this one book. They all bring their own ideas. So that's why there'd be 2 authors. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that. But, yeah, I know where she could be coming from. Like, if it's a fiction book, then yeah, how did they write it together? But they could still do it together. But like, if they were doing non-fiction, they like bring their ideas together. So I just thought that was a real blonde moment because she's a really smart person. So I was really surprised that she thought that books can only be written by one person. This one is just bad. It's more like a stupid thing. So my sister wanted some ankle socks, like ones that were low cut for her shoes. I'm like, oh, I got these Disney ones. Do you want them? And she's like, yeah. This is also my dog, right? If this is your first time listening to the podcast, he always drinks his water every episode. And I don't edit it out. I just leave it in there because he likes to be involved. So I was like, oh, what about these Disney ones? And she's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, they have the Looney Tunes on them. She's like, they're not Disney. They're Warner Brothers. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're not Disney. I was probably thinking about Mickey Mouse. But yeah, the fact that I was like so confident about it, I'm like, you want my Disney socks? They're Looney Tunes. It was just, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I did that. You know? Let me know in the comments what blonde moments you have. It's funny. You don't have to be physically blonde. You can just have mentally blonde moments. You can be mentally blonde. Like me, I'm both mentally blonde and physically blonde. So this is one that is from a while ago. One that I didn't realize was a blonde moment. This was like years and years ago when I was in high school. One that I didn't realize was a blonde moment. One that I thought about like a couple days ago. I'm like, why did I do that? There was an easier way to do that. Okay. You know when you handed an assignment in and the teacher was like, you can give me a draft, and they like give you feedback. Like they cross out words and like replace words with words just so you can like have your grammar better, your sentences better. Like you can add stuff. Okay, like give you feedback on, you should add this. Well, when I would get those drafts back, I'm not joking, okay? I'm not joking. I would rewrite the whole assignment with their feedback. Okay? When there was an easier way to do it where I could just go to my original one and put the feedback in it. Okay, I don't know why. One time I literally got one of my friends, because I could not be bothered to type it for me. Like it was my assignment, right? To like retype it for me because I could not be bothered retyping the whole thing. When I realized, like a couple of days ago, I was like, oh my god, why did I do that? I could have just had my original copy on my Word document, then added what the teacher said to add, what to change. Okay, you know how simple that is? Yeah, that's just how bad it is. Okay, but to switch it up a bit, to make out that I'm not a really blonde person, that I do have my not so blonde moments. Not so blonde moment is from last week. So at my Nana Pop's house, they have like a granny flat, but the internet doesn't connect down there. And my sister and I really wanted to watch YouTube or 7+. We didn't want to watch like live TV or yeah, just cable or anything like that because there was nothing on. So I'm like, can I connect my tablet to the TV so we can watch YouTube and 7+ and stuff like that? I was able to do it. Like I connected my data. Like my data was connected. So I hotspotted my tablet from my phone. And yeah, I was able to connect the YouTube 7+. So I was able to watch Little Women LA. I was able to watch YouTube. Oh, another thing is I could play Candy Crush. Like whatever I was doing on my tablet would show up on the screen. So my sister and I would play Candy Crush. We could like watch what each other was doing. So I was very proud of myself about that because I figured out how to connect my tablet to the smart TV even though there wasn't any internet. I did it with the data. So I was very proud about that. we're now going to move on to my not so blonde moment. So at work, one of the things we have to do is weigh and shape the burgers, okay? So I'm not sure anyone else has come up with this hack, but it takes a while to like take out some of the mince and then weigh it, and then oh, you're like, oh, I'm a bit over, and then yeah, it takes a while. So something I came up with is, because I've been doing it for a while, I'm like, basically they're all like, I weighed out and like the mince is already fitting in the ring, right? So I'm like, why don't I just skip the whole weighing process, seeing as I weigh it and it all fits in the ring perfectly. Why don't I just put it in the ring to just begin with and to end with, okay? Just to save some time. So I skip the weighing process, just put it straight in the ring, there, done. Okay, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, because it was the same weight for all of them. So I was like, yes, okay. So that is a hack. Work smarter, not harder, okay? I have two. One's mine and one's another one. So I was watching this video with someone and they were playing like games, and they're like, oh, I'm like, what are they? And they're like, they're coil monsters, I think. And then I said, their necks are really long, and he's like, yeah, they have coils for necks. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, you guys can take that whatever way you want. And then another one is, it's not mine, but I actually thought it wasn't much of a blonde moment, but it was cute, you know, it was just cute because it was an elderly person. So like when mum and I go to the mobile library, there's this like man, and he's so cute. He's like, I don't know how old he is, he's like 90, but he doesn't look 90, he looks like 60 or 70. So yeah, he was telling us that he was sitting on the benches, and he's like, oh, it's really peaceful and quiet, like, yeah. And then he realized he didn't have his hearing aids in, so that's why he couldn't hear anything. But like, I thought it was really sweet and cute. So this one is very bad. Okay, it's very bad. Like, it is probably the worst one. So, for my sister's birthday, we went somewhere different for lunch, and they have the booth table, you know, where, yeah, it's like, instead they have like one long seat. Well, it was like, I didn't like how the tables were spaced because the chair was like too far from the table, if you know what I mean. So I was like trying to pull the chair in, and I'm like, it's a booth table, come on, like the chair isn't gonna move because it is like stuck to the ground, okay? I just can't believe that. Like, I told my sister, she's like, that can be a blonde moment for the week. Like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I just couldn't believe I did it. I couldn't like reach my arms out to like pull it because the seat was like too long. Yeah, there was no way for me to grip to even move it in. And the food was good though, so that's all that matters. Okay, so as I was discussing earlier, I went on to Quora. I'm pretty sure that's how you have to say it, okay. And it's a thread. So it says, what are some dumb blonde moments you have witnessed? Have you ever had one? Yes, I've had one. I haven't just had one, I've probably had millions. Okay, so I'm gonna read the first three, just so it doesn't take up the whole podcast. So, this one says, the funniest dumb blonde moment was my own doing. I went out to start my car one morning and it wouldn't turn over. Wouldn't turn on, I think. Checked the gas, yep, still had gas. Checked to make sure the battery was charged and connected, yep. Checked the oil for good measure, it was fine. So I called AAA. It is auto club here is in the US that will send a tow truck to help. It was a cold, icy morning, so tow trucks were busy. I'm waiting and waiting, getting a little frustrated. Then I looked down at my gear shift. It wasn't in park or neutral. Of course it wasn't going to start. Put the shift in park, and she started right up. Called AAA and admitted to my dumb blonde moment, even calling it that. The representative on the phone asked if it was okay if he laughed at that. I assured him I was already laughing, so he would be laughing with me instead of at me. So, yeah, I haven't driven a manual car, but yeah, I feel like it has to be in park before you turn it on, otherwise it wouldn't start. That's what I get from it, but I'm blind, so I wouldn't know. So yeah, it's just one of those things where you're like, yeah, everything's working, why isn't it working? And then you figure out, oh, this is why, you know, like, you like have a checklist in your brain, you're like, is this on? Is this on? Is this on? Is this... Oh no, that's not connected, so that's not right. The second one is, I didn't witness this, but my sister told me the story. She said she shared that my oldest niece was being an exasperating teenager. When my sister had enough of her antics, she asked my niece, "Where were you when they were handing out brains?" My niece retorted back, "Right in front of you, Mum." The blonde moment was when my sister shared that it took her over an hour to realize that she had been insulted. The other blonde moment was when my sister shared the story with the family. I would have never told anyone how long it took for me to figure out that I was insulted. Ugh. She didn't realize that she had been insulted. It took her hours. Yeah, you ever do that where someone tells you a joke and you're like, that's not even funny, and then I think this has happened to me, and then a couple of days later I realised how the joke was funny, like how it actually made sense. So, yeah. The last one is, my husband used to pick me up from the office every evening. He used to message me before he left his office and call me once he was outside my building. One evening, while waiting for him, I was talking to my mother on phone. I got a call from his number on my second line. I assumed he was there and started walking towards the gate. I sat in the car and ended my call. I looked to the right and saw a shocked and unfamiliar face. The person in the driving seat was not my husband. I came out suddenly and looked around. I saw my husband in the car parked just behind it. He was laughing loudly. I got confused with the same colour and model of the car. Dumb. I don't know if that's a blonde moment though, but it is kind of bad because I feel like you do look at the model of the car before the license plate. Like, I am familiar with the numbers and the letters on, like, my mum and dad's cars, like the license plates. So, yeah, when I see that, that's when I'm like, yeah, that's my mum and dad picking me up. So this one is really bad. It's a math one. It's more like a common sense one where... Okay, so I had a full-on argument. I think it was with... I don't know who it was, but it was someone in the house. That I thought that a third was bigger than a half. Like, a third of a cup was bigger than a half cup. I don't know why. Like, because my dog, whenever he has like a... This is like a weird example, but whenever my dog has like dog food, right, at night, we third it. So I don't know why I thought that a third of his dog food was more than half of a can of his dog food. I don't know why, but yeah, that was just my blonde moment because I don't know. I think it's because there were more like sections. That's why I thought there was more, but yeah, I don't know why I thought a third of a cup would be bigger than half of a cup. Okay, so that was my blonde moment that I thought of. This was like a couple weeks ago. This one is really bad. It's so bad. I can't even believe that I did it. Okay, so we got these new things in the house where it's like there's shutters, you know what I mean? So we have one for the sliding door and it slides, obviously. And Mum was telling me to like lock the sliding door, which is on the other side. So I was trying to open the sliding door with the shutters, but I was pushing the bit that was attached to the wall and not the actual bit, like the sliding door part. So yeah, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to open it, it's not opening. And she's like, that's because you're trying to slide the bit that's like attached to the wall. Yeah, and then I realised it was easier actually opening it with the sliding door part. So I am so blonde. This one isn't that bad, but it's more of like a really short one. So yesterday I had an ice cream sandwich, right? It was a Neapolitan one, so it has chocolate, strawberry and vanilla. So I was eating it and I'm like, where's the chocolate? Because I can only taste the strawberry and the vanilla. So the cookie was chocolate and my sister goes, the cookie is the chocolate part. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because I was expecting there to be chocolate ice cream. You know what I mean? Because it's Neapolitan. So I was like, there has to be chocolate as well. So that was like a mini blonde moment. You're really like, that's not even really a blonde moment, but it was like me thinking, oh, Neapolitan has to have all 3 flavours of ice cream. And I didn't take into account that the cookie was chocolate. Yeah, we found it.